deck of the hour, right? So yeah, I'll bring it out for one, but I might end up switching to something funnier for a second game. I don't know, or like a second set. Depends how long this actually takes, or how long Pepper takes as well. Because we are starting a bit early, but that's fine. This is a weird opener actually. I don't know which one of these I want to go with. Ooh. Probably you, actually. Yeah. Alright, what would you like?
Heads, please.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, I was looking at it going, out of the two things I could start with, it's like, this is probably better.
Fighting energy.
Yep.
Don't like the rest of this hand, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I had Mewtwo in hand. That was the other one. I was like, do I start this? Do I not? I was thinking, nah, Keldeo is probably better here.
We'll put down a Tracheon, we'll put a Rescue Scarf on Trubbish, and we will Hammerhead for the 30.
Yep. Do that. Alright, we will draw. Okay, you know what? Acceptable. We will play Heavy Ball. I don't think I'm actually getting anything off of this, to be honest, but yeah, because I don't play Kuro EX. That would actually be a pretty interesting tech, but I don't think it'd be good enough, because it's just, why would you play that over a 4th Keldeo, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not getting anything off of this search. I'm just checking the rest of the deck before I go on to see where we stand right now.
Fair enough.
Okay. Right, so we will play the beach because yeah, I had to top deck that.
Of course.
I had to top deck it. That was the thing, is that you end me into a pretty dead-looking hand otherwise. We will play the Mewtwo. I will. It's weird because I kind of want to attach active, but I guess I will. It's probably fine. And then we will beach for drawing 4. Not getting the Squirtle down is not amazing, I'll say that for a fact.
Touch another Fighting Energy.
Yep.
Garbodor.
Straight away as well.
We will Bianca for 4.
Yep.
EXP share onto the Tracheon. And we will Hammerhead, putting 30 on the U2.
Yep. Let's just clone this one real quick. And 6. Alright, we will draw. Skylar. Let's grab ourselves. Do we have it in deck? Yeah, we do. Grab ourselves Level Ball for the squirt. Not a lot else to do within this hand though, and this hand is at 7, so go ahead. Yeah, the joys of going second on the guard turn, huh?
Skyla?
Yep. Yeah.
First time we should have see what's going on. Not too. Probably grab that.
Okay.
Question is, how do I want to charge this Terrakion? think you should just go for the kill.
Makes sense to me. It's a pretty,
And we'll
pretty good one.
Lance Judgment.
Yep. Discard to do 150. Take it out. Yep. Makes sense to me.
That thing is scary.
That is true. That is true. Well, you've lost all the energy, so that means Mewtwo doesn't do very much now, so I guess this guy comes in. Right. This is gonna take a hell of a monumental turn to do this, but I guess we've got to try. I do have Candy Blastoise, so we can get that down. We will Tool Scrapper both tools away. So, yeah, we'll scrapper your 2 tools.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the different artwork from later on. It's like Plasma Blast this one came from, actually. And we... Oh, I do not like having to do it this way, but I guess we will just end here because I need to kind of get rid of I need to kind of get rid of the hand. Although you didn't have an energy for the thing, but you did have Switch, so I suppose that does something.
I would have been looking for Mewtwo at that point.
Yeah.
If you tried to swing into the Terrakion there, or tried to swing into Lando.
Yeah, we have Squirtle. Not amazing. It's frustrating because I didn't get anywhere near where I needed to be with this. Well, I think Ultra Ball is always happening here. Pitcher Retrieval. I do not like pitching that, so I suppose I won't. I'll pitch Candy here to grab Keldeo.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll capture the Garbodor. Can't exactly do much to take it out this turn, but that's okay. We'll rush in and we will draw. Do I want to do that bit first? Yeah, I'll probably do this first. We'll retrieval the 1 energy. It's so painful having to use 2 of these things for it, but it's just like, I think drawing the full 7 is probably better here, so we will do that.
Okay. Put down a Trubbish. Why do I want this?
Yeah, we're seeing the sort of other side of this deck compared to what you had with it in last round. You were running really, really hot with this, but we're kind of seeing the other side of it where it is still a stage 2 deck after all. You know, sometimes you just don't hit it.
We'll attach that. Catcher in the Blastoise because it's fat.
Yep,
and you need more energy to attack with it.
That's fair.
Juniper for 7, discarding DCE.
Yep.
Okay, that definitely helps. EXP share onto the Garbodor.
Yep.
Computer search, discarding fighting energy. Fighting energy. To get Switch.
Yep. It's pretty good.
Sorry. We'll Super Rod the energy back in.
Yep.
Oh, I played the Switch.
Yeah, I played the Switch.
Bringing the Lando, and we will Hammerhead, putting it on the Keldeo.
Yeah, okay. It's one of those funny situations if you can actually play it on the Squirtle too, which is very funny.
Alright, that is a thing, but I'm not sure it's the correct right now.
No, I don't think it is either. I'm just...
The damage on the EX is more important when they take one-shots on them.
Yep. Oh, well, I do have Comp Search, so we can still get in with this. Beach and end to the discards. We do have the second scrapper, so we will use that here. So we can deluge a bazillion here. We will go 1, 2, 3, 4. Last card, Juniper. Let's get 7. Bench this Keldeo and deluge 1, 2, 3 to that. Rush in and we will Secret Sword for 100 and 220. 180 is necessary for the KO, but yeah.
Put down Mewtwo.
Mm-hmm.
Put down Trubbish and Beach.
Yep. Yeah, I can't exactly get rid of my own Beach in this deck, so maybe that was why some of them play Poké Center as well. It'd be kind of funny to think about that. Okay, so the way I've distributed this stuff, I don't think I can... Yeah, I can't really take any knockout on the meaningful guy this turn, because I would love to just take this out, but I don't have a meaningful way of doing that because of the way I moved the energy. But I wanted to put the energy down before an end potentially happens, so, you know, because keeping free energy in hand, or even just a Garbodor getting the tool on it, right, that would have still been really annoying. I think I do want to capture that Garbodor, actually, just to make sure. I know you've got, like, probably 2 tools left, but this just makes it harder. You've got to find the tool, and, yeah, you've got, like, 2, I think, available. At least if the deck is still playing 5, but obviously we can change things as we go. How many catcher have been used? Just the one.
I think just the one.
Yeah, so because I could get the Squirtle evolved because Garbodor does shut off Gel Shield, so it makes it a little bit more vulnerable as well. But I think if I do that, it's just going to be more awkward to go with after. So it's probably not worth doing that. No energy there either. Let's just Charon this turn then. Well, I guess I'll do it anyway. I wasn't exactly thinking that was going to be the case, but sure, I suppose. I have an attach, it's just where's best to go. Probably... you've got Mewtwo in play now, so what are we looking at? If it's got no energy at the moment, so plus power would still get it here, because it'd do 140 if I put that down, so probably best not to do it there, so I suppose we'll just put it here, and yeah, Secret Sword for the 110. I don't think it's worth swapping anyone else out.
That makes things significantly easier, Skyla.
Yep.
Catcher in the Mewtwo, DCE plus power.
Yeah?
I think that does it.
No?
Oh, then what were you... Where does the plus power factor in? That would be 100 and... No, Blastoise then.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
because this will be 110 and that will be enough.
And we'll put a rescue... Naturally, no, we should wait on that, because you can drag that in.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, we'll kill the Blastoise.
Yep, that does do 110. Yeah, no, this is the entire reason I didn't put the energy on the Mewtwo last turn is because if you did get the catcher stuff, you could have done exactly what you were doing there, because this would have been 120 plus power would have made it 140. So that was actually the exact reason why I didn't do that last turn. Okay, we will go there, take our draw. Alrighty. Let's see then. So what? How many have I used of everything? 1, 2. Really hate the fact if I had to burn those retrievals so early, but you know. 14 in deck. This is weird because it's like I have N and I have Juniper, and it's like I really want to N here just to get stuff down, but at the same time it's like I want Juniper here so I can discard stuff and not redraw it, because none of the rest of the hand is stuff I want to get back. This is weird. How many Juniper have I even used? It's like 2 or something, right? Oh no, just a 1. Yeah, alright, I think that makes it easier, and then we'll do N here.
Pretty good end, by the way.
Yeah. This is trying to play without the knowledge. Yeah, you wouldn't have shown Rescue Scarf if it was just like, you know, the normal bit. I was trying to play without the knowledge of that, just going, yeah,
I just realized you can just catcher up something there, and it's a problem.
Yeah. We will Hydro Pump for 90 here.
Enough. Alright, Heavy Ball.
Yep.
Get our Garbodor. Plus par, Fighting Energy on the Trachean. And of my own.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And we will X-Ball for the KO.
Yeah, it's 110 exactly. Twice in the same game. Pretty good. Right, just double checking. There is no tool on that Garb at the moment, so I can go in with whatever I want first. We will draw. Very funny. We'll Deluge 1, and I think it's just going to be Juniper. Juniper Skylar as the rest of the hand. Peak comedy. Ooh, okay. Strange. Let's Ultra Ball, pitching, War Turtle, and how many of these have I even used? 1, 2. Okay, that would be. I think that's the last of both, right? No, it's not. We'll pitch Squirtle. Thin out Squirtle. And then I think it's fine benching it because you're on 2 prizes anyway, so it's kind of whatever. We will rush in and Secret Sword for the 110 KO here. Close one.
Don't think I can get a knockout from this position. And you two easily can. Yeah, no, there's nothing I can really do here.
Yeah, I had it in hand. I had the energy.
No, I needed energy at this point.
Yeah. No, I had 1 energy in hand, so I'd have been able to do 130 to the Trachean, is what I'm saying. Yeah, because I'd use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the discard, 3 here, 1 here. I had 2.
I would have needed Tool and a catcher.
Yeah, I had 2 and a retrieval left in deck. Last Keldeo was there, but yeah. Close freaking thing with that, though, my goodness. Yeah, I did not have a particularly good start with this one, for sure. Would have been okay, but I think that N really messed me up a fair bit at the start because I had a really decent opener for pretty much everything else I'd have wanted, and you know, because I had the I think I had Ultra Ball, I think it was, in hand at the start, so I did have access to the Squirtle, and my hand already had Candy Blastoise in it, as well as the supporter, so it's like, Yeah, I was right there, but then that end messed me up something proper, and luckily got the beach to actually be able to play something that turn. This card is insane in this deck. I mean, it's funny because we haven't played it much before now, and like when we have played it, it's been decent, but it's never been this good, and I think the reason for it is now we can actually search it, right? We have the Skylar and we have Comp Search that could just fish it out of the deck if we...
We can also pare our hands down a lot easier.
Yes. Ultra Ball not being in format for most of the time we could have played Beach, obviously. Yeah, Jonkon was a thing, but Jonkon was still awkward to do that sort of thing with. And yeah, no, I think it's just been so much better with this.
You can also dump your hand down with this thing.
Yes.
You don't necessarily need to attack a turn where you deluge a lot of energy.
Yeah. I greeded very slightly less with this deck in the end because I did put a 13th energy in. I think I took out one of the Skylar for it, so it's kind of whatever, I suppose. It's not too bad. I was thinking I might want the Charon for the extra little bit of draw power because Skylar can't exactly get you energy out of the deck right now, you know, whereas just getting a little bit of extra draw might get you there, so... But other than that, yeah, you pretty much saw exactly the idea with this stuff. This little guy kind of worked alright. It's more anti-sigil if than anything, so I don't have to put a Blastoise in danger. And also, it takes one less energy to attack, so that actually matters in the Sigilif matchup, as we found out in testing before, right? That was a very, very silly thing to have to go against. And yeah, I guess I didn't know whether or not I wanted to play level ball or heavy ball, so I just put one of each in because I was like, Skylar can search for the one that I need, and it did. So you know, it was fine, and yeah, it's a pretty standard like Blastoise Keldeo that just I guess the baby Keldeo instead of like a 4th EX is probably the main difference here. I suppose only having one Mewtwo EX could be a thing, but I don't really think you need more than one most of the time. So, Keldeo is just that good of an attacker that Mewtwo is only really for, you know, situations like this, really, isn't it? Where it's just like, yeah, Garb gets to mess everything up a bit. But that's why we play two Tool Scrapper, isn't it?
Which is why I was playing around it after the first one.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I mean, I had to burn them pretty early, but I really didn't have much of a choice. If I wanted to get into that game at all, I had to be deluging on the turns that I did, so I don't think it was wrong of me to do that. It was just like, yeah, there was really no choice on that. I like to preserve them as much as possible to use them on super impactful turns, and I think that had to be what we did here. Because, I mean, as soon as I scrap it, I got, like, 3 energy down and then Junipered, right? So it was definitely there and, you know, important, but I don't know. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, I say fairly standard. A lot of the list that we've been seeing just didn't play Tool Scrapper, right? So they were
Which kind of silly.
Lunatics. Absolute lunatics. Keldeo was a really, really good attacker, but only if you can get it powered up. And 3 energy is difficult to power up if you don't have Excel. So, you know, yeah, absolute lunatics not playing that.
I think this showcased well,
Yeah.
for a weakness matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it does hurt Landorus being weak to it. I see you've de-emphasized the Lando a little bit compared to my own version of this. I played the third one of it, so it's like you've de-emphasized it a little bit so that this becomes the more prominent thing for the matchup, knowing that Blastoise is going to get played here, so that's totally understandable.
Blastoise is really good, and it's stupid to not have something that scales well off it.
Yes, so you definitely, that's intelligent deck building. I will say that. I just like the Lando. I was like,
it's really good.
Yeah,
I do like it as well. Like in my test game, I had basically the same thing go on with turn 2 Garbolock and turn 1 Hammer going on, and it's just a lot of pressure.
It's so bad. It's so oppressive. Yeah, absolutely insane, to be honest.
Just one single ping and oops, my big attack now KOs everything on the field.
Yeah, that's the bit that I'd spotted with it too. And it's easy to underestimate Lance Judgment because it's only 80 damage that it does normally, and you've got to discard so much to get it to do 150. But
you're taking 2 prizes for it, so
yup, that 150 is insanely good. So yeah, absolutely up there for it. Anyhow, seems like we've still got a little bit of time here. If
I think Pepper just joined the call there, but
Yeah, I'm just still spamming my deck out of it. Of course, the deck I try and copy isn't even for this format, even though it's listed for it.
I borrowed your Lando garb as a base, Pepper, and took it to where I wanted it to be. I dropped the. Hang on, I do have it, so we can get the differences out
get the
here.
comparison, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I just played straight Blastoise Keldeo in the end because I tested the Kyurem stuff and I never used the Kyurem at all.
Oh,
It
this
was
needs
just,
sorted. Hang on.
yeah, the Kyurem just ended up acting worse to me for it. It's just like it's fine, but I never really had the chance to use it, and it's just like Keldeo is just better, so I just used Keldeo and the thing, and I never managed. I know it's only a 101, but I never once got the Dusknoir set up, so it was just, why am I even bothering,
Most of the changes, I wanted more balls, and I didn't think random receiver was worth it. I'd rather have the Skyla and just up the sporter count.
And I mean, Skylar works quite well there, right? Because even just going, Skylar for catcher, was pretty freaking good. So it was like, that being an option, it's just like, yeah, no, I can understand why.
I went more into the ball engine here. I went with more heavy balls than ultra balls because half the deck is searchable by heavy ball.
Yeah, it's really just getting that first Trubbish, isn't it? That's the bit that
I was almost tempted to take one out and go up to 4, but didn't seem correct.
Nah,
I don't really want to start the Trubbish.
I only want a level ball instead.
Maybe one, if that's
like
the
one
sort of
one
bit.
level ball is a scar target, which is your 4th virtual Trubbish.
Well, the idea is Ultra Ball gets Mewtwo's as well.
Yeah, just for a scar target, that's all.
I mean, it
Scar
depends on the rest of the hand, doesn't it? Because Scarlet for Ultra Ball for Trubbish is still perfectly acceptable, right? It just depends on what else is there. I can get the point. It's like, yeah, you could search it for free if you do it that way, and that's fine too. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just at least there is a way of Skylar converting into Trubbish at least, so it's not completely like without merit that way.
The other thing is, I don't think you really want to start Trubbish in this deck. You'd rather be on this guy or this guy.
Yeah, which is why
that was the idea.
That's why you don't play 4, basically.
Although if it's Trubbish and I have Switch in hand and I can search out another thing, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you run tons of Switch, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but you don't want to.
Yeah.
And I dropped one tool. Giant's Cape is nice, but I didn't see it as that important.
Yeah, like, it was a flex slot for sure. Like, it was originally Evioli, it's just... I think the logic on the list was to have a lot of tools that do something else for the other guys, so that you can afford to run a higher tool count for Garbodor without actually hurting your deck too much.
Fair. Which is
Hey,
why I did
matchups.
keep the EXP shares in, because EXP share on Drakion is scary.
Especially as you're on Mewtwo's and Mewtwo Wars is still a thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Switch is also probably a tech slot.
Well, it can be useful, because if you have a Lando that's fairly weak and you have 1 energy...
Oh yeah, there's plenty of uses for this, because again, Garbodor can also take XP share sometimes. And you can get your energy off of him that way.
Yep. Oops, suddenly lands Judgment.
Exactly, there's nothing you can do with it. But yeah, it's also a flex slot, I think.
Yeah, if it was my build, I would have taken the fourth catcher instead of it. That's the one thing I would have really liked to have seen is in both lists actually is four catcher, to be honest, because Lando is so ridiculous early game of catchers, you know.
Even if
So
you drag in something that isn't damaged and then you just hammerhead it and you put more on the bench.
yep.
Like, oops, there's the Squirtle. I don't want to be using weaker hammerheads, so I'm gonna drag in the Squirtle and bonk that instead.
Yeah. So no, that's just my personal thing. I feel like in any Lando deck, like four catchers should be mandatory, but that's again personal preference on it. So
Just wasn't sure where to fit it in.
yeah, it's tough. If you want the energy switch, I think that's hard to fit in very well. So yeah, understandable. Right, do you want to have a go then?
Sure, I'm not sure if I'm bringing a good deck into these matchups, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'll move over. I guess you can change my thing from there, yeah, so.
Yeah, it's quick for me to do things.
That is a mulligan.
Yep.
That is not. Heads or tails?
Heads. Okay, I need to go first. This one's awkward. Now that just makes sense.
So essentially, you've ended up building the deck that I couldn't, like, personally figure out how to justify it, is the thing.
My justification is I'm probably not bringing this in a future set. So
I mean,
show
that
it
is totally fair. The main reason to ended up would be like Floatstone or something, wouldn't it? But
well, this Dying Hand's a bit of a fun one.
you could say that
Ultra
again.
Ball, discarding Dusknoir and Dusknoir.
Oh.
Nah, just when I was trying to even conceive of the stuff here, it's just like I could not find any one way that I could make this work and, you know, have it actually be good, so I ended up just not building it. It's really, really interesting though, so at least it's certainly got that going for it.
Duskull. Bench it. Super Rod back in my 2 Mons. And Hand of All Time. Juniper discard 2 Junipers.
Oh.
Yup, sometimes you just get those hands. It sucks ass, but you know.
Ah.
Ditto. Yeah, I didn't know to mention this. Another Trap Inch. And pass.
Okay. Ultra Ball discarding. N and yeah, I think I just have to go for it. DCE.
Ooh, it's interesting. Whenever you,
Landorus.
whenever you see an N hit the bid, it's like, uh-oh, isn't it really?
Switch. Fighting Energy, plus par. Juniper for 7. Catcher in the Ditto. And we will Hammerhead for the KO and put the damage on the Duskull.
Yeah, Hammerhead with plus power is 80 on weakness, so...
Dusclops.
Not the one from Flashfire. Critical info here.
Yeah, I did check legal.
Oh right, I saw a list for this later on the round that ran a Raichu with that done 20 per bench for DC.
Yeah, circle circuit. Yep. XY base.
Which is kind of scary at how long this is sticking around.
Ultra Ball's gone. Max Potion. Switch.
Yeah, if I remember rightly, then
Lava.
I think the rotation that is important here actually might be BCR on. I don't remember exactly which. Would be weird, but oh no, I mean rotate 3 sets, so I don't know.
I think I lose if I get to do that, so... Catcher in the Shrubbish. Pass.
Okay. Put down the Mewtwo. Catcher in the, no, that isn't weak to Psychic. Let me...
No, it's weak to Dark.
Slightly annoying. I think...
It's too spooky to be weak to Psychic.
Do I go for this? I think the damage is more important. I don't want to risk not getting a switch off what I'm doing next, so we'll play the retreat.
Whoa.
Thank you.
I mean, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and I think if that ended up drawing into Garbodor Tool, I think it'd be over, right? So.
And we'll Hammerhead putting it on the Dusclops again.
Okay.
Need to make you find that dust tomorrow.
That can't be correct, can it? Yeah, I got a weird hand, so... Do I really? Is that really correct here? No, that's never correct. That's never correct. I think that is correct then. Let's play this and look what you've got. Ultra Ball, discard Skylar and Beach. Get Noir.
It rejects your damage and substitutes its own.
Unfortunately, I can only do it on your on the opponent's side.
Yeah, I know, right? God. Most unbelievable abilities of all time.
Brava. And
Not mad about that.
yeah. Oh, it's a waste. Got a Flygon.
Okay, get that set up now then.
Yeah.
Yeah, assuming it can become active.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'll leave them on top
Yeah,
of the card.
Yeah,
Alright, I'll move it back.
Just making sure that everything's clear first up, because as we will show on the stream at the moment, this Sand Slammer only activates when it's in the active, so it does have to get there before.
Computer search, discard Dusknoir Ultra Ball.
Which I will be honest is like the entire reason why I wasn't able to just make this deck outright, because I would have just done regular Flygon if it was on the bench as well.
Alright.
Lando
And
Flygon.
I will beach for 6.
Yep. Landorus Flygon would have been an absolutely disgusting deck if, yeah.
Fighting energy on the Trachean. And
very tiger-shaped Track. Well, no, I guess Track. No.
or Landorus.
What is?
Sorry.
What even
I get
is
them mixed
Track?
up all the time.
It's understandable. What even is Trachean anyway? I don't know.
Very good question. Capturing the Dusknoir. Hammerhead putting it on the Trapinch.
And that's a KO.
Funnily enough, even if it was still Flygon active, of course Garbodor stops the ability, so
Max Potion active.
yeah, I was just hovering over it for.
I don't think that saves it.
Well, I wouldn't save it if you discard the energy. That's fair, but it does force it, I suppose. I was oh, gone.
Catch a Garb.
Yeah, I was mousing over the max potion for the just in case anyone didn't recognize the card art, because that's a very unusual artwork for the max part. Being the
And
yep,
Oh, good N.
it's pretty solid, yeah.
Trapinch. Level Ball. Duskull. Bench. Switch Flygon active and beach 4.
Yep.
Put down a Mewtwo. DCE, the undamaged Mewtwo. Beach for 4.
Really is absurd just how good Garbodor is against this deck, man.
Nyla. Scrapper. targets. Yes, you can. Can be Flygon. And let me see if I want to what's it, anything first? Dusknoir. 17 now. No.
I'll be
You
honest with you. If you even if you did, I think it'd be a mistake if you did.
Yeah, I was making sure I couldn't kill the Trubbish, that's all.
No, you couldn't. There was like 50 damage.
40, yeah.
40 and Sunflower takes up to 50, but yeah. So,
But even if you could, it would have been a mistake to do so.
But yeah. And can I afford? Yeah, I can afford this beach for 2.
Oh yeah, you've got like
Oh,
no
can
cards
you?
left in deck. I just noticed.
This is a
Skyla?
time to go this deep.
So we are going to grab a rescue scarf.
Things went weird.
We're
You're telling
also.
me.
Oh, where did that go? I had no heavy ball. Oh, there. Is that it?
Oh, that's a scarf.
Oh.
Yeah,
the
that's a rescue scarf. Yes.
I have a missing heavy ball.
One in my hand.
And I'll have another one in hand, so it's fine.
Huh.
It wouldn't have ended up in the wells because it's not an attach. Yeah, I don't see it anywhere unless it ends up in your deck. Unless it...
So we will evolve this one. Use switch. Catch fighting energy.
Where'd the scarf go?
Wait. Oh, whoops. Went discard by accident. Scarf the Garbodor. Let's see, what do I want to... Yeah, we'll just take out the Flygon, I guess.
Land's Judgment.
Scrapper. Capturing Garb. And pass for 10 spread.
Okay, I'll get that
For you.
sorted in a second. Thank you. Skyla.
Starting to see how good Skylar is in this deck after all.
Sorry.
Bless you.
EXP share.
I started to think I cannot possibly run enough Scrapper to make this work.
Correct.
We'll put this down, Catcher in the Dusknoir, and Beach for 6.
Skylar.
14 damage on
And
board at the moment. Yeah.
That switch. Because the one was in the prizes.
Yep. Again, you can really see why I'm like I couldn't bring myself to build this deck. It just doesn't work, unfortunately.
59 cards.
Yeah, I don't know where it's gone. I see a heavy ball down here. Don't know how you got it all the way down there, but
Physics.
there was one in the...
I had 2 in hand.
Yeah. No, there was one up here in on this edge of the table. I'm like, huh.
Weird. But yeah, sorry, that is sort of a counter deck to what you were trying to do there.
I did try to respect it, but...
There's only so much you can respect it, though, if I'm only attaching one tool at a time.
Yeah.
And you even kind of played into it a little bit. I know you had to because of the way your hands were, but you even kind of played into it a bit too by benching so many more Pokemon as well. I imagine if that entire
Well,
game...
that was to get my hand on, yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying, like, you kind of had to, but it's like you even played into it. So I imagine if that game was... You only had, like, 3 Pokemon at any given time, this wouldn't...
Very difficult.
Yeah, it just wouldn't have done anything. Right? That's ultimately why I didn't... It's not even the guard matchup or anything for it, though obviously that doesn't help. Ultimately, I worked out this deck just doesn't do anything. And it's just like... It doesn't... You know, you can play around it just by not benching Pokemon. And... Yeah. Like, if I start... I mean, you could have actually just gone... not bench anything other, even outside like Lando. Like, what the hell is this deck gonna do to you if you don't bench anything except and just attack with Lando, right? Because it's only gonna put 1 damage counter on you between turns. Like, whoop de freaking do. You eventually put like a second DX down when you get to like 16, 17 counters or whatever. And this just doesn't do shit. That's why I wanted to put the Chandelure in, right? Because at least with the Chandelure, you'd be able to force the issue a little bit more. But then it's just so much more gymnastics that you've got to do to get things in and out all the time, and it still doesn't work. So, you know.
At that point, you probably want Float Stone.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah. You absolutely need Float Stone for stuff ultimately in here.
And even then, the decks that are going to be trying to take out Garbodor are going to have Tool Scrapper.
Right, but at the very least you can still do the kind of the same sort of thing as what you were doing, right? You don't have to put all of your Floatstone down immediately. I know it's tempting to get the giant beaches for 6 or 7 cards every time, but you don't have to. You know, you can preserve
You
things.
saw my deck size there at the end.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't think they can afford to.
I looked at your deck and I saw 8 cards left, and I was like, "Oh shit!" It's like, how'd that happen?
To get going, I couldn't find my goddamn candy.
I was like, "Wait, you haven't done anything? How did that happen?"
I just found all my basics and I had to Juniper away 2 Juniper.
I feel like if this didn't have the active constraint, it would be a lot better.
Oh, it'd be
If this didn't have active, it'd be broken as fuck.
Yeah, pretty much. Darkrai Flygon, anyone? Although it'd just be Lando Flygon, let's be honest. But like Darkrai Flygon would be actually kind of funny.
And near anything Flygon would probably work when you spread a turn from the bench.
Fly Polion, let's go. No. You play it with Garchomp because Dragon Core can search the evolution parts. There you go.
I'm surprised there hasn't been a Tyranitar with this effect.
There kind of was, right? The Dark Tyranitar, the ability one, right? That was kind of similar.
Sandstream.
Yeah, it's not. It wasn't.
That for basics or something, or something daft like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't exactly the same, but it was pretty close. Because that was the whole point of the Rocklock deck, right?
Yeah. Yeah, benched basics specifically.
Yeah. So that was the whole idea behind Rocklock, was you'd be able to do that. I think the Dark Ampharos like did damage when they evolved, right? So yeah, that was the entire idea, was that you know, this did damage to everything in between
so
turns.
Expensive.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of damage, but it's so expensive.
Yep.
I mean, Raging Roar is how you're supposed to pay for it.
Sure, but yeah, there's just not a lot going for that one. Right. So some other stuff we didn't end up showing. I did want to play the Ho, but I played it last week into the exact same deck that was getting played here, so I didn't. But I'll show the list off real quick, at least for.
Yeah, I'm messing with Ho, but I know you brought it a bunch. It's like.
Yeah, I mean, I've played it the last.
Later.
It can. I mean, it is fire, so it technically could be okay into Virgin, right? Eventually. But yeah, for anyone who's interested in Solar List, this is a slightly modified version of Kyle Sukovic's, Puka's state-destroying list, we shall say. I think he very famously went like 5 cities in a row with completely undefeated with this deck. like 28 games or something stupid like that. It was absolutely insane. But I've made a couple of changes to what he played because he had like a third EVLI, the second Buffalon over here. No Keldeo in the main thing for it here. I felt like no, some of this stuff was a bit too important not to, and I think pretty much everything came up when I played against your Orlando Garb on Saturday, right? So it was like everything I added kind of came up. The Tornadus was the only thing that kind of didn't, but that's just because I didn't have space for it at the time, really. It's the best, like, generic attacker, colorless-wise, that you could really fit, so even though there's no stadium in here, it still makes sense. Because, I mean, DCE energy switch off of a Ho-Oh to it, you're hitting 100 for out of nowhere, and the energy discards could fuel Ho-Oh later, and, you know, if you haven't already done it, so it's alright. And, yeah, I think he had a 4th switch card too, but that's where my Keldeo came in instead. I respected Lando enough to be like, I'm gonna put Keldeo in the second water in here to try and go against that matchup. So, yeah, I mean, because I think Lando Garb is actually kind of a bad matchup if you don't have the Keldeo, let's be honest. Garbodor shutting off Sigilith is really bad. Shutting off Rebirth can be quite bad. And
I feel like any deck that doesn't have some sort of answer to Lando is in a poor spot right now.
yeah, it is kind of that good. I mean, there's a damn good reason I didn't bring any eel-based thing for not another eel deck week, right? So,
If it weren't for Blastoise being an answer to this, coming out in the same set, it would probably just have been another Mewtwo situation.
quite possibly.
Best deck in format.
Yeah, I mean, it does do pretty well against Mewtwo for a lot of it too, because it's like, what does Mewtwo do to it? Like 60? That's not... I know it does. You don't do that much back, but just the spread damage all over the place. Because we don't have Mr. Mime until the end of this Worlds format, so... As I got pointed out to me, it is not in the next set, it's in the set after, so...
It's 3-shot at best and 4-shot if they EVLite it or Giant Cape it.
And it's 1 energy, so it's a prime target for Max Potion too. Like, we're not playing it in these decks at the moment, but that's because we're not as heavily focused on the Lando. But, like, the Lando Mewtwo Tornadus Garb thing that I had for end of format has, like, 1 Max Potion and 1 gold, but it's playing 4 Lando. Because it's just like, yeah, that's what you want to start with. It's that much pressure off it, you know? And the fact that this is just a single energy to Hammerhead, unlike basically every other EX, makes it a prime target for Max Potion. Something that we haven't had quite as easily. Like, we've seen it, right? Klinklang, I guess the Entei deck kind of used it a bit as well, but that deck was bad, let's be honest. And the Darkrai Hydreigon could use it quite well and all, but they all have its extra circumstances to it, which involve moving the energy away. Something this little bugger stops from happening, right? So, you know, but this could take advantage of it so much easier. So yeah, Max Pot is definitely a huge potential tech for stuff here. But, you know, that's it.
I just ate Ditto alive there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was rough. I've seen the catcher plus power in the same turn for that. That was brutal.
I benched it because in case I got the Dusk Skull on a future turn, just because then I only had 1 and that was kind of not great.
Yeah.
It's just a risk if you put something like that down around something that can
well,
easily...
it's only HP. I don't quite die to Hammerhead for weakness.
Yeah.
No.
Didn't, yeah, the damage mod was there, so...
I almost say if it doesn't get 60 on it, it's a bit awkward. It's a bit...
Yeah, it is, because you've got to max pot it before you can use the ability at that point. The 2 other things that I had built, neither of which are good, let's be honest, but if I was playing you instead, I would have probably memed with the second of these. I did build the Klinklang, as you guys saw in the Discord, but I'll show the list for it here anyway, whilst I get the last one out as well.
Yes.
I did build this. It was fine, but it ultimately couldn't stand up to the Blastoise stuff that well. It wasn't even because of the focus on this guy, it just didn't like do it enough. And then I played it against the Lando Garb, and Garb just dunked on it entirely. Didn't help that I prized one of the Clinks, so should have probably played the 4th one. But, you know, it's just like, yeah, I could never get this going, and if you couldn't get this going, then you can power up Keldeo, but it's so takes so long to do, and as you did to me as well, Land's Judgment is pretty good at taking out the Keldeo and without too much issues. So it's yeah, if you don't get it powered up fast enough, it's just gonna get captured and judgmented, right? So
because it is a threat, it needs to be respected.
absolutely, yeah. And yeah, then the funny one, which you would have had a significantly better time against if I didn't get it set up immediately or like fast enough. I made the round deck. I had to. It was very simple.
Thought we didn't have the Meloetta.
We don't. That's the point.
That's why it's a meme.
Yep. It has a couple of things going for it though. The Wigglytuff is levelable, searchable, so that's nice. The Palpitoad does have round, although the Time Pole does not in this era, which is kind of annoying. There is one in a future era that has round, but that's not just now. And the Heavy Ball is at least nice to freely search the Seismitoad, and since you've got to play like a full set of all the evolutions anyway, Pokécom becomes pretty good in the deck, so you don't have to play Ultra Ball. So it has some stuff going for it. I was a little bit short on space by the end of it. I wanted like a little bit more on the switching side. Possibly a third Super Rod, but that might have been too much anyway.
Pokemon, we're back in Gen 4.
I know, right? Although we're still about 24 short of being a Gen 4 deck, so you know. I don't mean to bitch on it. I'm just like I was just getting so sick of every single deck having to be like 24, 25 Pokemon or something in that generation. So you know, but nah. I mean, it is exactly what you would think it would be. It's fine. At least Jigglypuff survives a Hammerhead without plus power, so there is that going for it. But yeah, it's clearly not amazing. I did like 1-0 in testing the Lando Garb deck that I had built, which is pretty funny, but that's just because round can hit for weakness, right? So, you know, a round for 240 is actually pretty solid against Lando, go figure. So, you know, it's not the absolute worst thing in the world, it's just not great, you know? Yeah, that's about it. But I would have, if I was playing a second game today, I would have memed with this just because there wasn't much else I was gonna do. Right? I'm not playing the Darkrai Hydreigon again because yeah, it's good, but I just don't want to play it 2 weeks in a row. And
Hasn't really changed much, has it?
Not really. I've added the Skylers and stuff like that in. I don't think I haven't added Beach because you generally junk hunt instead. Like I forced the 4th Dart Patch in, but it's like the fundamentals of it haven't changed. I think I fully switched over.
I put a Scrapper or 2 in there.
Yeah, I already had a Scrapper in there, but I should have put a second one in probably. I was thinking that you could junk hunt it back and Skylar could get it out in the first place, but might be a bit too greedy because if it gets prized. But then the only other thing is to switch entirely over to the Dragon type Dino because the fighting type for weakness on the Dark one, as nice as the Dark one is for patch and stuff, is just not worth it. So I'd rather lose to a Ray that's not like the top tier deck anyway because Tynamo gets eaten alive than lose to the Lando, right, on turn 1. So no, that's mostly it. It's like I had Lando Guard myself, but I wasn't gonna play it in the light of, you know, it was better shown I think with YouTube between the 2 days. And yeah, I tried Blastoise Kyurem. I said to Sai at the start of this, I tried it. I never used the Kyurem at all, and I could never get the 101 Dusknoir tech out, so it was just a worse Blastoise Keldeo.
I probably have built something like that, but part 1 I was a bit short on time, and 2 I thought you were doing it, so I didn't want.
Yeah, I made an honest go at it, and it wasn't terrible. Like it was still Blastoise Keldeo, right? But it was just Blastoise Keldeo with only 2 Keldeo, and yeah, I could never justify putting the Kyurem up front. Like I could just never get it going. So ultimately just dropped it and just played my own Keldeo list with the baby Keldeo as the 4th one. So, you know, it's
hard to justify spread in this format because there's not much support tools for it. Like, I mean, apart from the Dusknoir, but that's a bit heavy.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I was like, I mean, it is literally heavy. Is the other thing is I could use my heavy ball tech to get it out. So it's like, oh, that's cool. But I couldn't fit Super Rod in because I still wanted the free energy retrieval. So if I had to Juniper the Dusknoir away like I did in the first game I played, it was just already out, right? I couldn't do it. So yeah, I don't know. It's fine, and I wouldn't begrudge anyone playing it. It just wasn't for me. So. But that's okay, because there's still other decks I enjoy playing within this one. Like, I do like the Blastoise deck. I do quite like the Ho-Oh deck, actually. Just, you know, I've played it in the off moments the last couple, so whatever. And the Lando Garb, I do actually think this is interesting. Like, it's not quite as absolutely oppressive as some of the other decks we have seen in the past, but it definitely has a lot of the right elements for that. Just the sheer fact if you can actually still like turn off the Garbodor though, because Skylar is in format, it really does help a lot, I think. So, not enough to make this deck survive, unfortunately, but you know.
You just can't run enough trappers.
Yeah. You would need Sableye in here as well, and then you don't have
To be
Sandslammer
fair,
working.
you didn't know it, but I had 2 tools prized, so you did run enough score. Until I killed something at least.
Yeah, but it's just unfortunate. Sometimes there's just not a lot you can do with it. But yeah, that's boundaries crossed, I suppose. And not the most exciting set in terms of new stuff, right? You've got like two decks basically, Lando and Keldeo stuff. But I mean, they make a huge impact. So I guess
Here to stay.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, next up, there's one that is not on PTCG Legends because they haven't got a slot for this one at the moment. It's not. They've got, you know, like the please wait thing on there, so we actually do not have a list set to go with on this next one. So interesting, I suppose. But yeah, Plasma is coming in, first round of it at least.
I think. There we go.
There's a lot of decks.
It's gonna crash there.
Oh dear. There's quite a few decks actually I've been wanting to do that have needed something from either this set or the next one to actually function. So.
Oh, it's shuffled.
Oh no.
Well, that needs to be sorted again.
Yeah, I'm just waiting
Or
for
you
it to
just
load.
delete it and grab another one.
It's easier.
Is it?
I don't have sort by number on my sorters.
Yeah. So, yeah, next set's going to be interesting at the very least. Because, yeah, I'm actually going to have to stop playing GOS for a little bit and build some decks for this one. Because, man, excitement, I guess, for this set. Because, yeah, some of the decks I wanted to play actually become
Do we have
live now.
everything we need for Venipede now?
Yeah, if you wanted to play it, it is possible. I didn't bring it out of my interest list yet, but I'll clear up some of the stuff here, and we can get going on that. So, yeah, for the YouTube side, pretty quick games overall today with the stuff, but that is just kind of how this set goes, I think. Blastoise, by its nature, is a pretty fast deck, and, well, Landorus is ridiculous if it takes over the game that well, so, yeah, such is the way. Anyway, yeah,